Hello friends, this is Dr. Amarjeet Kaur, Professor of Accounting and Business Communication at the Department of Management, Gurugram University, Gurugram. This is my privilege that I am here with you to discuss about negotiation skills. This is a part of the business communication skills which we are talking in detail, and it's a very important topic and it's becoming more important by every day passing out. Reason being, the businesses are going global. Companies are operating from different cities to different countries now, and everybody wants to make the best out of the deals they strike with other companies, another cities, another countries. So everybody tries to gain maximum, and that's what and where the negotiation skill comes in. So, negotiation skill begins in the beginning of everyone's life. Even a kid of 2 years would like to negotiate with his or her parents to get something. A student tries to negotiate with the professor to extend the date of exam or submission of assignment. And any employee for that matter would like to negotiate with the employer to get more perks, better salary, better amenities, etc., etc. So this is how negotiation skills are there in us as humans throughout our life. They are required within us, and they are natural to some extent. But as it says skills means there is a possibility to enhance them, to improve upon them by working on them, right? So we are going to discuss what negotiation skills in detail, and especially from the context of business perspective. So friends, let's start with the negotiation skills definition or meaning. Negotiation skills refer to the ability to compromise and achieve a conclusion that is pleasant for all involved. Negotiation skills are important for influencing others to accept your ways of thinking and to gain support of team members. So what does it mean? As the slides which you would have had a look at clearly tells that this is an ability. That's why we call it as skills. Skills are always abilities, right? So ability to what? To reach to a situation where we could compromise with the other party, we could conclude a situation, a struggle, we could put across our point and make others understand, and reach to a situation where everybody is happy to some extent, right? So we want to reach to that situation. So that's what negotiation skill means. It is also, important for influencing others. I want to influence others to accept, the importance of reaching on time in meetings, in classroom, in seminars, wherever. I may like to influence others to accept the idea to introduce uniform in the system, right? So even that is my negotiation. I'm trying to make others understand, I'm trying to make others influence my point of view, I'm trying to influence their thinking, right? So that I could gain support from the team members, from the audience, whomsoever I am targeting. So it's very important to influence others, to make others understand your point of view, and to gain any kind of support required for any idea, any project, any product, any issue. So that's what negotiation skills means. Further, negotiation is a dialogue where two or more sides work together to reach an agreeable solution for all parties involved. It might result in a formal agreement like a contract or a less formal understanding like a verbal agreement. So, as I said, it's a dialogue. Dialogue means where two people are talking to each other, or it could be more than two people, but they are discussing. So, they are working together through dialogue so that they reach to a situation or solution which is agreeable to all the parties involved. It could be 2 parties, 3 parties, 4 parties, it all depends what kind of business situation we are in. So, but some dialogue is taking place. It means communication is playing a role, right? Dialogue could be written or an oral one, but there is a dialogue between the parties involved, and the whole purpose is to reach to a agreeable solution or situation. And this may result into, you may result into a formal agreement. There is a formal understanding between all the parties involved. It could be in the form of a contract, it could be in the form of a MOU, it could be in the form of a purchase order, etc., etc., right? And it could be simply an understanding, okay, I agree. So a verbal agreement that we will have tomorrow's meeting will start at or the tomorrow's conference will start at 10 o'clock instead of 11, right? So it was a discussion going on, a dialogue between two parties who were collaborating together, and they reached to a verbal agreement. So it could be a formal one, generally a contract, an MOU, etc., etc., and it could be simply an agreement which is a verbal one. So we call it as less formal understanding or informal understanding. So that is the end result of negotiation process. Further, it means it is a discussion to settle disputes and reach agreements between two or more sides. In fact, it is a give and take process resulting in a compromise where each side makes a concession for the benefit of everyone involved. So it means, some kind of discussion, some kind of dialogue is going between the people involved, either to solve a dispute or to address disagreements, right? I may say, no, I want a quote of 120 per kg, the product I am going to buy in the contract which I will be supplying for next 5 years, but the seller says it will be 110. So there is a kind of disagreement. There could be a dispute, right, between the labor union and the management. So a discussion is going on. So a leader from the labor union is negotiating with the management, and a negotiator from the management side is negotiating with the leader of the union. So there is a dispute, and both the parties are trying to settle the dispute so that they both could achieve the maximum benefit as per their requirement. So that's what negotiation is. And in fact, what is happening this whole process? Give and take. So I am trying to compromise, as one negotiator from one side. They both are negotiators, right? For that matter, both the people who are representing party 1 and party 2, they are negotiators. So somebody is giving up something, somebody is taking up something. You may give away certain points, another may take those points from you, and vice versa. So some kind of concession is happening during the discussion. Okay, we agree to point number 1, point number 2, etc. And other would say, no, I do not agree to point number 2, but point number 1 is fine. So this is how you will move forward to the next point, right? So this is how we call it as give and take process, which is beneficial for everyone. Negotiation is an important practice that many businesses use across different sectors, and mostly it can be handled internally and may require involving professional negotiators for times. And if you enjoy problem solving and conflict resolution, then being a negotiator can be a rewarding career. So as you must have read it, I would like to explain it further. It's an important practice. Every business which carries this practice, because at any point of time a business is buying something, selling something. It could be purchase of services, sale of services, purchase of products, sale of products. So one or the other kind of negotiation is going with the vendors, with the employees, with the labor union, with management, etc., etc. So it's a very important practice which businesses need to carry. In fact, many universities, and especially in overseas, they run complete course on negotiation skill. It's so important. Good business schools, I don't want to name them, but tier 1 business schools across the world, they actually teach negotiation skills as an independent subject course. Reason being, this is so important. At every department, be it marketing or finance or HR, everywhere managers need to negotiate either with the management, within the company, with outside the company. So there are so many stakeholders involved in negotiation, right? Most of the time companies would handle this negotiation process while dealing with outsider internally. Somebody would be representing them, but there are certain situations where internal people may not have sufficient knowledge, background, experience, etc. to close the deal, and those are the situations where professional negotiators are used. For example, deals where takeover is taking up, one company is taking over the another. So in that situation we will have many people involved, including professional negotiators, because they are the owners who are trying to sell, and the people who are trying to buy may not like to talk to each other directly on many aspects. So that's how they would like to bring in negotiators. And this could be a very important profession for those people who are very much interested in resolving conflicts. You enjoy bichola, Hindi mein we call it as beech ka bichola. There are people who are always known as for that role, they are bicholas. So that's what the negotiators are. So they have the problem solving attitude, they are good listeners, they actually are the ones who resolve the conflict. So this could be a very rewarding career for people, right? So let's understand, when we talked about this could be a rewarding career, who are the negotiators? So someone who helps two or more parties reach an agreement. Negotiators have career options in many sectors like law enforcement, sales, healthcare, etc. So a negotiator is a person who is going to help two or more parties which are involved in any kind of conflict, any kind of trouble, any kind of business, to reach to some agreement, some situation or some agreement, some resolve where the both parties says fine, this is good for us, right? So that's the role of the person. And negotiators, they have many options in the career. They can go into the law enforcement. For example, in most of the courts we have mediators. They are negotiators. We may use any term to define this role, but the ultimate purpose is negotiator. In every business is for the purpose of striking sales, we need negotiators. Everybody tries to buy at the lesser price, and the seller would like to sell it at the higher possible price. So there's a conflict. One wants to pay less, one wants to sell at a higher point. So certainly there need to be somebody who talks on those issues and brings out the solution, brings out the resolve to the two different situations, right, which are opposite to each other. We have healthcare sector where the insurance guys, the medical practitioners, they have special people who negotiate with the patient, with the a client who wants to insure himself herself. I want this much discount, I want that much discount. So you guys can think of so many career options in this area. Further, the negotiator may work directly with involved individuals or corporate, or with other negotiators, and they also carry and oversee the entire negotiation process, so to reach to a successful resolve or agreement. So this negotiator is generally supposed to be working with the people who are involved. It could be individual, because had it been a lawsuit going on between two individuals, so a husband-wife going under the divorce process, a mediator is required. Two brothers fighting for the ancestral property, a negotiator is required. A wife trying to take possession of her kid, she's trying to fight with the husband to take possession of the kid, so a negotiator is required. So then it becomes individual, like one-on-one, at individual capacity a negotiator is working. But same could be from company to company. Company X trying to buy company Y, company X trying to sell to company Y. So in all those situations we have the involvement of negotiator, but at a corporate level. So both are the career options for you to choose from. And generally this negotiator, who is a professional, he or she will actually oversee the whole whole negotiation process. They will make the arrangement for the meeting of the two parties, take the minutes of the meeting, they will make a follow-up call, they will come up with the next possible alternates which is acceptable to other parties, both the parties, like that. The whole process, unless they reach to or strike to a conclusion or a resolution, it has been carried by the negotiator, right? That's the role. So now I am going to talk about the common type of negotiators which we see as around. Number 1, crisis negotiators. Number 2, contract negotiators. Number 3, mediators, and hostage negotiators. So let me just spend few minutes on this. The crisis negotiators. There's a crisis. You know, there's a death in the in a company, in a factory. One of the labor died, 2 of the labor died. There was a fire. Few of the laborers have died. Few of the employees have died. This is a crisis, right? And in that situation, the labor union head would like to negotiate to seek more compensation than the company is trying to give. That is one situation. There could be crises like oil. You know, there's a war going on in a country where the oil is produced, is being sent to other country. So one country is trying to negotiate with the other country during that crisis. For example, the COVID has happened. There were few countries who developed the COVID vaccine, others could not. So the the countries which were actually beginners in producing COVID vaccine, the other companies who were not, they were reaching out to the producers, the producing companies, to send them at least few thousands, few millions of the vaccinations, right? So that was a crisis negotiator who was doing this on the behalf of one country to another country, government to government, right? So that is the first kind of. The second is contract negotiator. This is the most common one in the business fraternity. So here contract is to be striked off between two companies, between one individual and one company, and vice versa. And these are the people who are trying to finalize that contract to get that contract signed. There are mediators, and they are the ones who are generally around in the law systems. They are mediating the fights happened and the resolve between two parties involved. It could be brothers, sisters, siblings. It could be husband, wife, kids with parents, etc., etc. One company with another, company with the clients. So they are trying to mediate, right? So they are the mediators, and this is the third type of negotiators we see around. And the fourth and the rare category is the hostage negotiators. So especially if the nation of a country are taken into hostages, there are people who negotiate. And mind you please, all the negotiation which takes place under all the four heads is very important. Everywhere very high level of emotional intelligence, high level of communication, understanding is required, right? So these are the four broad type of the negotiators we see around. There you can actually bifurcate them into many subcategories as well. And then the negotiator may work directly involved with as I said, and they may work indirectly. So after talking about this, let's talk about responsibility of negotiators. So responsibilities are to study about the situation and cases that are similar to the ones they are facing, to evaluate the contract or situation for best possible outcomes, to meet with clients to understand their expectations and assess ideal outcome for them. Let's discuss these three first, and then we will talk about more responsibilities. So the first is to study about situation and cases that are similar to the ones they are facing, right? So the first job for me as a negotiator would be to study what happened, what is the psychology of the hostages, what is the psychology of the government, what is the political situation, the economic situation, and what has happened in similar situation in the past for the similar kind of people involved. This is my job as a negotiator. It's just not that I am negotiator and I am good in talking and I will be a good negotiator. I will prove as an efficient negotiator. No, I cannot be a good negotiator if I just do not do my homework, right? And the homework is to read about the situation, to study about the situation and the cases which are similar to the situation one is handling at a particular point of time. Then another responsibility of a negotiator is to evaluate the situation, the contract for the best possible outcomes. What is the best I can actually try to extract from this ongoing discussion of a contract for my party, for my client? If I am a negotiator from the outside, or if I am an employee and I am doing to negotiate for my own company, right? So I need to evaluate that what best possible is the outcome under the situation which is discussed here. So that is the job of the negotiator to evaluate, right? Another responsibility of a negotiator is to meet with the clients and understand their expectation and to assess ideal outcome for them. As a negotiator, it is my responsibility that I should go and meet my client, or I should go and pick up my phone and talk about the ongoing deal, the ongoing contract under discussion, the ongoing situation or the problem, and try to understand what are their expectations out of this discussion. They want, for example, a company may tell a negotiator that there is no way that I will go below this amount, right? There is no way I can give more than this to my future client, right? So this is to understand the expectation. I am fine, I can compromise on price, but I cannot compromise on quality. I am fine, I can compromise on quality to some extent, to this extent, variation of 5%, but I cannot compromise on deadline. So what is this? I am trying to assess what are the areas where my client is flexible about. So that's what is the role or the responsibility of negotiator. Another few responsibilities are to speak with all parties to identify areas, points they can negotiate in, to schedule meetings with parties to evaluate new proposals or the new developments, to take notes and write reports to use for future negotiation. So let's understand this in detail. So the first is to speak with the parties. This is, as a negotiator, my responsibility that I keep on talking, I keep on engaging with the parties whom I am dealing with, both, my side whom I am representing to and the other side with whom I am negotiating for, right? So both the parties, and I should try to find out, I should try to identify the pain areas for both and agreeable points or areas for both the parties. That's how you will be able to be a good or effective negotiator. Then another job is to schedule the once you have started the work of negotiation, you should be scheduling meetings with the parties who are involved and see what is coming up, because at the first meeting both the parties have reached here, in the next meeting they may reach here, in the third meeting they may reach to the conclusion, right? So you have to see after every meeting, and you have to schedule the meeting and you have to see what is the next which I can propose, the offer I am talking, what I can bring on the table, what is next. That's why they say the negotiator will never open all the cards, they will always keep certain cards close to their heart, and that will be opened at the end of the discussion or towards the end, right, after assessing both the parties very well. And lastly, they should make notes of whatever has happened during the meeting, write a report not only for the clients. This can, this exercise of writing reports, writing notes can help the negotiator in future as well. Because if you remember, I said always start with reading the similar situation. right? If we do not keep record of what has happened in the current one, this will not become the future reference point. So this will become a future reference point only if I take notes and I put it in record in black and white as a report. So that's the responsibility of negotiator. So with this I would like to wind up, friends. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you.